Testing 1 2 3. 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 I'm seeing something over here, friends. If you could hear me, testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing. Yeah, testing 1 2 3. Thank you, folks. Sorry for this. This is not my fault. All right, thanks, guys, for being back on. I don't know what the hell just happened, friends. I'm sorry about this. Not surprising with the astrology we have going on right now, friends. It is off the charts. Mars is squaring Uranus. Jupiter is squaring Saturn. And this is the kind of stuff that we see, friends. I'm sorry. I mean, I tested the microphone on my end. It is working fine on my end. It is a YouTube issue, so not surprising. But we'll give everyone a few minutes to get back in here. Hopefully, we'll record this session so everyone has it. And subscribe to this channel. You'll see the replay after this. And this is silly, but it happens. What are you going to do? And so I'm just doing the best I can here, friends, just like I'm sure you guys are. But let me pull this up here. I got to pull up my screen. Hold on, guys, because we're gonna do a live stream, and I'm going to share my screen. So I'm just getting to the slides as we're talking and giving everyone a chance to get in here. So let me get back here. All right. So after the third time, here we are. But this is definitely not surprising when we have this kind of energy that is being ramped up right now and in this weekend. And for those of you that have been regulars to my channel, I've been talking about this since the beginning of the month, how the energy was going to be very high, disruptive, chaotic. We're all going to feel weird. I know I've been feeling weird. I mean, there are days where it's just like, wow, I am like totally zoned out. So we are absolutely experiencing something that is not just the astrology, but this cosmic energy that keeps coming in. And of course, I cannot discount the fact that there's manipulation taking place. And this is where I have to be careful about what I say, because the AI algorithm is listening to everything that we're doing, our phones, our media, the whole 9 yards. This is why I have the private community. And I will be jumping on that Zoom call right after this. And we'll be going much deeper than this presentation on in the community. So I left a link down below. Hopefully you'll see it there. If not, it's school.com/truth seeker. Okay, school with a K, SKOOL.com/truth seeker. And so we're going to be diving much deeper there, because I could speak a lot more freely on that platform. So we will. And I'm also going to give you a little tour at the end of this presentation of the inner circle and give you an idea of what you could expect when you're there. And of course, there's a 7-day free trial, so you can check it out, look around. If it's for you, great, stay a while. I would highly suggest buying the 1-year plan. It's cheaper, and we'll go from there. But today I expected some strange anomalies to take place, in my personal life. I got a lot going on. And so not surprising one bit that, we had no sound, even though I checked it beforehand, but as soon as we get on, boom, no sound. But anyway, we're going to cover what's going on. I'm going to give you my take on what I see coming. This is very interesting because, my spidey senses can be really on target, and they have been over the years. And so I will share with you what I'm seeing coming just in the next month or so, month and a half. Now, of course, I'm going to give you more details in the Inner Circle community. So consider at least joining today for the 7-day trial, and that way I could talk a lot more freely. So there is a lot going on. The energy is being ramped up. The dark ones that have been controlling this planet are putting their wheels in motion. Everything is happening all at once for a reason. None of this is happening by chance. None of it. And so this is what we're seeing coming our way. Let me see here. We're going to just share the screen in about 15 seconds, friends. So if you like this video, please share it, like it, subscribe to this channel. It helps out a lot. And you know, it's free. There's nothing. There's no obligation. But let me share my screen and let's get into this because we wasted enough time. You know, basically trying to get into the inner circle. I mean, into the YouTube channel. Here we go. All right, so let's get into this. Hopefully, everyone could see my screen. Let me get into. All right, come on. All right, here we go. All right, let's try this. All right, so here we are. Passionate changes ahead, just as the title suggests. We are going to see some changes, significant changes in just the next month and a half. Now, why am I saying this? Because if you understand astrology, Jupiter has just entered Cancer in Western astrology. We are going through Cancer. We have a new moon in Cancer at the end of the month. Cancer can be a very sort of conservative sign, but it's a very emotional sign, which means people will be reacting emotionally. Now, we've already seen that with the LA riots. We've seen it in different other protests around the country, but I believe we're going to see more of it. But there are some strange things that I'm picking up on, like weather anomalies that are coming our way, particularly around water or storms. So I want you guys to be very careful or pay attention to the solar activity that's taking place and these strange sort of tsunamis or weather changes that are going to occur in the next month to month and a half as we're going into solar cycle. You know, we're going into a very hard solar cycle. We're in solar maximum, and July is a peak point. So let's go into what's going on. I'm going to run through these because we wasted enough time with the no sound. So we know that there is issues in LA. There is this video here that I put out last week, and you guys should check it out. It goes into the astrology for LA. I talked about what's going to happen in LA in the next year. Of course, we have senators that are, you know, becoming actors and performers and doing stupid things during press conferences. Not surprising one bit. Everything is a distraction. We also see this protest going on, which was yesterday, and I get the idea, or going through social media, that it wasn't a big deal. There was not a big turnout in a lot of the major cities. And so it's almost as if people are like, you know, I don't know if I want to participate in this nonsense, even though in DC there was disruptions in DC and some other major cities, but it wasn't as a big of a turnout as expected from what I gather. Okay, so again, this is continuing. We also see, now this is very important here, friends, because if you've been following me for the last year or so, I talked about how this country, and I'm not going to mention its name because that's one of the AI, you know, picks up on that word immediately and it starts listening very carefully. Between this country and this country, I said that this country was going to have some very big difficulty in the years to come. And I still see that. As a matter of fact, in my inner circle, I've already made predictions about this country and how it may not exist by 2040. That's right, you heard me correctly. It may not exist by 2040. So we saw this happening. Again, this is all orchestrated. The timing is impeccable because these psychopaths that run this planet know when to act. And they're throwing everything at us, including the kitchen sink, and more to come. Okay, now this is not fear and doom and gloom because they are pushing an agenda which is very sneaky. And I know what that agenda is, and many others are starting to see it too. And so this is part of the game plan here, this conflict in the Middle East. So we're going to see that escalate also in the coming month to about a month and a half. We also saw the sad news, and that it's getting real stupid now in Minnesota, how 2 state senators were shot, including their spouses. And this is pathetic because this actually happened on the left. So, and there's a lot of information coming out right now, and I'm glad to all you truth seekers out there that you're on it, on the social media platforms, getting all the real information, bypassing mainstream media, because there are so many good people out there that are on the ground and they're seeing what the hell's going on. But this is sad and pathetic. You know, we should never have anything like this. And I will go deeper into this story and what I found out, like I'm sure many of you have found out, why these 2 people were targeted. Okay, and here's the story. This is from Fox 9 in Minnesota. 2 lawmakers were shot. Someone impersonating a police officer. I mean, the whole story's right there. You could just go to Fox 9 Minnesota and, you know, listen to the story there. Watch it for yourself, but it is sad and pathetic. But this is an example of the kind of energy we have: impulsive, reactive, rebellious, angry, and and this is the kind of sad stuff that I see coming again in the coming years because of the planetary alignments. Now let's go into the transits here. A lot of this stuff has been occurring, as you know, those of you that are regular followers, that this has been orchestrated, totally orchestrated, because of the astrology. They understand the astrology. The moon squaring Pluto, which is destructive, and opposing Venus in Taurus. So we have a giant T-square developing, that developed. But we also have Jupiter entering Cancer. Now, it is in Cancer already, and as you can see, it'll last all the way to 2026. And as for you newbies, I said the United States is going to be front and center in the coming year. So here we see it in the United States' chart. Okay, and Mercury is there too. But what makes this so tricky is they're going to be continuing to square Saturn and Neptune. That's what makes it tricky, and it's in conjuncting Pluto. And here we see also Mars opposing the United States' moon. So we're not out of the woods yet, friends. We're not out of the woods. So the United States will continue to be targeted in the months to come, especially the next month and a half. Here is the full moon that also was bringing up a lot of energy. Mars getting closer to the moon here. So I described all that, and the full moon highlighting the first house of identity and self of the United States, and potential partners or people connected to the United States. And of course, we saw 2 people getting shot in Minnesota, 2 planets in the 4th house. And I did say, for those of you that have been following me, I said something to do with the House or the Senate, but I was assuming it was the Washington, but it actually happened in the Minnesota, related to the Minnesota House and Senate. Okay, do you see what I'm talking about, friends? The symbolism is there. If you know how to look and you know how to tune into it, it's all there. You have to study these symbols and tune into them. But this is what I'm seeing here. Okay, so let's go to today and all the disruption we have today, the high vibe energy today. We have very disruptive energy as Mars is in Leo squaring exactly Uranus. Uranus is surprises. Uranus is, things breaking down. Uranus is things not going according to plan, and here it is, 28 degrees of Taurus. I happen to be born under the sign of Taurus, so not surprising that it's affecting me in electronics. And of course, Jupiter at 1 degree of Cancer also squaring Saturn, which is also difficulty limitations. So we have these 2 being active the entire day. And so this is very disruptive energy. We also got the transiting moon going through Aquarius, which is associated with Uranus. So we're looking at surprises, instability. Not surprising to me that I had technical issues with the YouTube. Okay, so anyway, the rest of the day, even going into tomorrow, can be a bit disruptive. So I want you guys to pay attention to all this stuff. Here it is in the United States' chart, continuing to pound away at the 4th house and partnerships, relationships, and people kind of losing their grip on reality. Okay, because this is hard energy right here. Uranus squaring the moon of the United States, squaring Mars, opposing it. So there's the T-square stuff, the aspect of it. The sun, Jupiter continues to square Saturn and will square Neptune also on the 18th. So we're looking at unstable, heavy energy that's affecting us. Here it is on the 18th. And again, friends, I'm running through this because we lost so much time at 11 o'clock. So here we have Jupiter now squaring Neptune. Now, what this could indicate, according to the astrology, I want you to look at things related to several areas and have to be careful here. One is water-related issues, tsunamis, weather, geomagnetic storms, weird stuff coming out of the blue. This is very possible here in the next couple of days. But Neptune, I want to be very careful what I say here. Neptune is related to disease and illness. If you really understand what the agenda is, and I think many of you are smart enough to understand it, there is an agenda, and I've been saying this for the longest time, ever since I went down this rabbit hole 30 years ago, like many of you. I've discovered somebody is trying to control the population. Okay? I'll leave it at that. I will discuss more of this in my inner circle. I will go dive deep into this. But Neptune is related to that. So there is an agenda here. There's a lot of speculation about July 4th, how there's going to be another event. Not surprising to me, because I do see it in the astrology, and my spidey senses have been going, okay, something weird is happening here. And it's just before Uranus enters Gemini. Okay? And so here it is in the United States' chart. Jupiter square Neptune, again dealing with the public. But we have Uranus in the 6th house of health and service. It's going to switch signs on the 7th. So again, to me, this is suggesting there could be something of another event that takes place to scare the crap out of everyone. So there is that coming that we need to pay attention to the beginning of July. So let's see what happens. All right. Here is the new moon in Cancer, which continues to heighten this paranoia or fear. Cancer is a very self-protective sign, to the point where sometimes the Cancer energy is nervous and afraid or scared in some way and somehow, okay, to protect its family. Now, what does this mean? This means over the next 30 days, we're going to be like more cautious. We're going to be like little kittens going, what's going on? What's happening here? You know, and that's the kind of energy I'm seeing here, especially since we have Jupiter, which is usually beneficial, really deeply connected to the new moon, but it is squaring Saturn and Neptune. And so we are seeing, and in conjuncting Pluto. So we're seeing the next 2 weeks after this new moon, some changes, some surprises. It could be related to water or the medical field. Again, I have to be careful what I say here, okay? Like another you know what. So we have to be careful of this. Mars has now entered also Virgo, which is also associated with health. So I am seeing here things related to health, outbreaks, disease, illness, all of that stuff is absolutely being highlighted in these charts. Okay? So just keep that in mind, friends. Here it is in the United States' chart. The new moon highlights right on Jupiter, okay? And it is also squaring these planets here in the 4th house. And it is making a favorable alignment to Mars, but that doesn't mean anything because it's in Virgo. Virgo is a worrier sign as well, just like Cancer is. So both of these signs very much worry a lot. But this is a big, important time right now, friends. Again, major change is on the horizon, and some of it is very passionate, as I said in the slide, and it could be nerve-wracking for those people that have no idea what's really going on. The other ones overreacting, or they're being paid to do what they're doing out in the streets because of desperation or because the money is too damn good. And believe me, there are a lot of YouTubers and truth seekers that have put out ads for people to come out on the streets, and they're paying them thousands of dollars to be there. So there is that, you know, it appears to be true. Let's talk about this, because this is going to be a game changer, friends. Uranus entering Gemini is going to be a game changer, without a doubt. And how do we know this? Okay, first, it's going to be a revolution of ideas, communication, technology, community, commerce, and transportation, everything I have here. But the reason we know that Uranus in Gemini is going to be disruptive is because Uranus likes to do things out of the ordinary, and Gemini likes doing things that are different and unusual or strange. They are easy. They enjoy the energy of the Aquarius movement. You understand? Now, Uranus in Taurus was not very easy. It had to do with our values, belief systems, or the material side of life. But Uranus in Gemini likes to think outside the box. It likes to do things in a different way, and it'll affect everything associated with the Gemini theme. Okay, so here's Uranus entering Gemini. It's going to be on July the 7th. And that's just after the 4th. I'm expecting some major announcement, some technological advancement, something to do with another disease. This is all part of the plan, friends, because the psychopaths that run this planet know all this stuff. Okay? And so let's take a look how we astrologers are going, holy crap, here we go. The last time Uranus was in Gemini, guess what happened? I'm showing you on the screen there. World War II. All right? And this is what happened here. While the U.S. involvement in World War II began in late 1941, Uranus had entered Gemini in August of 1941 and remained there until September 1948. Okay? We see the same similarities happening right now. War in the Middle East, riots at home. It's like a playbook. It's like it's being repeated again. And here it is in the United States. Now, notice it lit up the sixth house. Friends, there's going to be a lot of issues around health matters, health care. All of this stuff is going to be highlighted in the next 7 years. This is why I think RFK is there to try and ease us out or away from the destructive, path that we're on. Now, whether he's going to be successful, I don't know. But it absolutely looks like there's something going on here that involves, the everyday person, and being affected. And again, this is probably targeting the major cities, and I hate to say it, the blue cities and states. So keep an eye on this because this is going to be huge, friends. All right. Now, the last time also before the 1940s, Uranus was in Gemini in the 1860s. Okay. So here it is, and I did this presentation less than a year ago. I talked about it, and there it is. Uranus was in Gemini, but Mars was also there too. So this was absolutely conflict, disruption, irritability, and this, you could see the pattern here. There was a U.S. Civil War, same time frame when Uranus was there. So we're looking at this very similar rebellious energy that is taking place here, friends. And I don't say this lightly, like, oh yeah, it's going to happen for sure. No, but there's going to be disruption. There is no way we're getting out of Uranus in Gemini without major change, friends. I'm sorry, it's just the way it works. This is not, down to earth energy. Yeah, let's all get along. No, it's, disruptive energy. And you could see it in people's behavior. Overreacting in grocery stores or while driving, or just people just getting pissed off because they're not thinking, they're overreacting. Are we seeing the similarities, friends? Okay, is it just me, or are we seeing the similarities to what took place in the 1940s and in 1860s? Are we seeing something? And again, the psychopaths or whatever it is that's running this planet, likes to repeat cycles and patterns because they understand the cycles and patterns. And so they like to emphasize it to control the population. Remember, it's all about control, friends. It's all about controlling the masses. So I'm seeing a lot of similarities here, friends. Here is the astrology. I'm actually writing the newsletter right now. It's actually it is complete, actually. It's on my two other websites, planetswithin.com and josephpanthony.com. But if you want to sign up, I would advise going to, here's the newsletter. This was the last month. But going to astrologerjoe.com and clicking on the newsletter and just signing up. And all you need is your first name and an email. We do not send you a lot of email. There's like 1 or 2 a month. That's it. But at least you'll get that email. But while we're on my website, my website here, I want to take you guys real quick on a little tour of, hold on one second, guys. Sorry about this. Let's see here. Okay, I want to take you on a little tour of my inner circle right here. Okay, friends. So here's the inner circle, and I just want to show you what you could expect when you join. So here is where all the comments are. People comment, we interact, people post videos, whatever. My moderators are constantly checking it, and we're making sure it's all not advertisement and all that crap. So here is where people make comments. You can see all the comments here, and here's the classroom. This is where you could start here by watching the video on how to navigate. Here are the astrology courses, which I go over every month. All of the lessons are right there. Okay. We have the extended monthly horoscopes here each month. I do the extended as well for you guys. We have astrology software discounts. The private vault is where I have videos and suggestions. Well, actually, these are all the books that I suggest reading. Then we have all the recordings. Okay, these are some of the videos that I put up here for the inner circle. We've also got programs where you reach certain levels. It's about interacting with everyone here. Okay, here's the calendar. Every week we have what's going on. Like for instance, today we are going to be reviewing current events. That's what we're going to be doing, and I'm going to be diving much deeper into the current events because there's so much to talk about there. We have also, and I wanted to show you, We have all the live recordings right here. So you click on there every week. You can see an astrology lesson here. Last week we had another one there. We have the astrology overview, and you can see every week we have all the recordings. They were all saved there. You could go back and watch them at your own leisure. We have the forecast. This is the weekly astrology forecast videos that I put out, and they're all there as well. You see? And so then there's the astrology, the posts that people put under certain tabs, and we interact. I mean, people could send me questions here. You know, here it is. You know, people could send me questions, and I will address them. If they want me to take a look at something, I will address that on the Sunday Zoom calls. And so here we see a lot of what's going on here. As you see here, that I can put up stuff here that I cannot put on YouTube. Okay, and so there's a lot here that I cannot place on social media platforms because of the possibility of a censorship of some kind. So anyway, I hope you joined. There's a link down below. It's Astrologer Joe. Actually, it's school.com Truth Seeker. And you go there. There's a 7-day free trial. So, you know, there's no obligation. So check it out. And let me go back here. I want to end this live stream right now. Stop sharing. Okay, so we're back. And friends, we're going to cut this a little short. I'll stay on for about another 3 minutes or so. And we will go into all of this much deeper now into the community at 12 p.m. Arizona time. And so that's in about 15 minutes or so. And I'm just looking over everything here. Please consider clicking the link. Absolutely. Like, share, and subscribe this video. I'm sorry this video is going to be a little shorter than normal because of the sound problems. And again, friends, there's no way that I could fix that unless I reboot the live stream again. That's the only way I got it the third time. I got it to work right. And I was testing the microphone while I was off screen, and it was working. It was working. I could see the levels, everything, the sound was coming through. I'm like, it's not picking up the mic. And there was no setting or anything. They were all right. But I apologize for that. But I had really nothing to do with it. We could thank YouTube and their algorithm and whatever else is going on there. But anyway, I hope you guys will click on the link down below and join me in the inner circle, at least try out the 7-day trial. But if you do consider joining, I would highly recommend the 1 year. It's cheaper for everyone. And then we can interact one-on-one. And, you know, my members really do enjoy the interaction on the Sunday Zoom calls. And I do have fun with it. You know, I try to make it as playful as possible, even though the information is pretty deep and, you know, it's eye-opening. So anyway, I'm gonna stop this recording. Actually, let me take a look here and see if there's anything else. If anyone has any questions you folks have, send them here. I'll send them to Joe. Yeah, I'll stay on for a few more minutes because we cut this short. At least go to the half-hour mark. We're only at 27 minutes. So if you guys have any questions, let me go over here to my moderators. And you know, I've always said you love technology when it's working. And that's what's going on here today. But again, we're talking about a high vibe day, weird energy, not surprising one bit to me. Okay. And so let me see what my moderators are saying here. Does Trump need to be careful these days? Yes, he does have to be careful, but I do feel like he's being protected, friends. I really do feel like he's being protected. Something or someone is protecting him. Okay. And you want to call them angels, you want to call it whatever you want, galactic beings, I don't know, but someone is protecting him. So Linda, yes, he is being protected. So I would not send any worries towards Trump. Okay. Eric asks, do you see a natural disaster happening? Yes, Eric, that's one of the things, unfortunately, I do see. And it could involve the Pacific Ocean. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. Pacific Ocean. Do you guys see all those volcanoes going off? I predicted this years ago, about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I went into deep meditation and I kept seeing volcanoes erupting. And that's what I was shown. And they said, my higher consciousness said, when that happens, that's when things begin to completely change on the planet. So here we have the possibilities, yes, of tsunamis. Tsunamis in July. Yes, Ashley, that is very possible. Do you see earthquakes in California? Linda, that is very possible. I'm sorry to have to say this. California, the West Coast, and that's what I saw. And I actually saw the entire West Coast going all the way down into South America was going to be affected by water. Okay, that doesn't mean that it's going to be complete devastation. It just means water levels are going to rise in certain locations. And we've already seen some of that. Okay. Paul asked, what about California? I did. Laura, how bad is it really if my Uranus is in Taurus? Well, you're undergoing a belief change, Laura. That's what's actually happening if you have Uranus in Taurus. If you're a Taurus, your beliefs, your philosophy, the meaning of life, the purpose, your monetary issues, anything material is changing. So, as a Taurus myself, absolutely, the last 7 years, I look back and I look now and I go, I did change a lot. I bought this RV. I have a different lifestyle. I've changed many different things about myself and my belief systems. And so this is what it means when Uranus is in Taurus in this, this alignment. Okay. So anyway, friends, I'm going to stop this here. I think we have 30 minutes. Yeah. I'm going to stop this right now and to give this a chance for people to get into the Zoom call and to sign up. So I'll be on there at 12 noon, exactly Arizona time. So anyway, have a great week. Do the best you can. Keep your eyes open. And please share the information on social media and what's going on, because this is how we win. In a sense, we become unified. We don't fight each other. Oh, he said this. No, you just bring out information and you show people what's going on. That way we can unify against the system. All right? Anyway, have a great week. Do the best you can, and I'll talk to you guys soon. All right? Bye for now.